Hey everybody, Hi Lord Tamerlane here with another Obscurity in Miniature. Today we're going to go back to the Sisters of the Orphanage from Raging Heroes. These are their Beheaders. Yeah, they've got big giant axes and really fancy funky names. Can I even read them? Sentencia de Ambrosia, Seminaril de Yildiz, Valnerian l'Orage. Rage? I don't know. Milcare de Hua. I don't know if I'm saying any of these right. Cariadil d'Arc. Dark? I don't know. Anyway, they're girls in armor with big honking axes. And we have another questionnaire if we want to be a badass and join their game. So that bodes well for the future. Hopefully we'll see their War Stages Cathedral thing all finished up. Okay, so I was really curious about this. What size bases these girls were going to have? Because to me, they look like they were supposed to be kind of a stand-in for Stormcast, because you have the big heavy weapons with the axes and the big heavy weapons with the long sword spear things. We got all the other stuff, swords and shields and stuff like that. So I only got the Beheaders. There are 5 Beheaders, and then there's the Executioners, I believe they're called, with the big long sword things. So let's take a look at what we got. So pose seems pretty nice, actually. I kind of like it. They don't seem as flat as some of the other models I've seen. I'm not a big fan of the trying to attach 2 hands to a ball jointed system for a body, but you know, it is what it is. Looks like there's a lot of embellishments going on with her cloak there, as well as the backpack. Whether or not I can get any of those details to show through after painting is another story. This one was kind of cool. She has like this flail thing. She's sensor, possibly. She's tossing around in a traditional Raging Heroes running pose on one leg. I'm wondering if there's going to be enough balance there, but, you know, it is what it is. Big honking axe. The boss lady with a eagle on her shoulder and just all kinds of craziness going on there. You know, I really wish I was the painter that could paint at a level to really show this stuff off. It's just, there's a lot going on. It looks really cool. Not a whole lot on the back, though. This is what I'm talking about. She seems a little flat. I know I've mentioned this before in some of the other Raging Heroes videos. Sometimes their models come off very planar, two-dimensional. When, I mean, there is, you can see there's a very definite sense of movement all across the model. And there is quite a bit of depth. It's a very plain, a very 2D access, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. Which isn't that bad necessarily, because lots of models are. Not everybody can be, you know, totally, you know, 3-dimension, just kind of all over the place, or, you know, very kind of sticking out every which way. But I think for what it's supposed to be, it works well. Let's see the rest of the models as I start rambling on. We got 2 more. So here we have another one-legged. Looks like the axe might actually help prop her up, and she's pointing in the distance. She's going for a grand slam, it looks like. She's got like a bandolier thing. And finally, I don't know if she's supposed to be reclining. Oh, no, she's another running poser. This set has a lot of girls on one leg. I don't know why. And you'd think with a big giant axe like that, you'd really want to have yourself a nice, sturdy, stable gait to swing that thing so you don't, you know, end up off balance. But whatever. So construction doesn't look that bad on any of these girls, really. Honestly, most of them, it's the backpack and a leg, and that's about it. No heads, no crazy other things everywhere, no extra spikes. This is probably our worst offender, and all it is her hands, the leg, and the backpack. This is pretty simple stuff. And if you're worried or curious, I should say, either one of those, about the quality of the resin, because I know a lot of people got kind of burned by the toughest girls in the galaxy Kickstarters in terms of, you know, feeling that the resin wasn't the greatest quality. It was slimy, it was hard to glue, and I'll agree because I had a hell of a time trying to build mine. These have been really smooth so far. If you've noticed, I've probably built just about every single post-Kickstarter release they've made, and I've really had no issues yet, and I doubt these ladies are going to be an issue either. So I'm going to grab the glue, I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to get them built, and we'll see how they look compared to other models as well. Okay, so we got our beheaders all finished with their big honking axes, and I gotta say, I am pretty happy with the overall results. Casts look really nice and clean. Construction was no problem. Outside of our one model here, two models with their 1 foot on the ground. I don't like her leg. I don't like how high it's raised up. Everybody else, pretty nice poses, even though they're not really in focus. Sadly, as I was worried, they're not going to make the greatest Stormcast Eternal stand-ins. Number one, their bases are too small. Number two, they're just a little bit shy of the average height. Now, I know our hero model here is a little bit bigger, but I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you could totally proxy these girls in, perhaps in like Warcry or something that might work. Another interesting fact is that there is the alternate sci-fi builds for these girls. I don't have the sci-fi models, but much like their earlier Daughters of the Crimson Rose, I think they were the Crimson Rose, they have an option for weapons that reflect a more futuristic setting. The fantasy version of this model, for instance, has a shield, whereas these girls just have a lot of big guns. So keep that in mind if you're interested. Popping one of their Howling Jackal models in there just to give you guys a good size scale. So they are a bit bulkier. Grabbing a sadly work in progress model from the Blood Tribe Furians, you can see here. She's a little bit more comparable in size to the Beheaders. Beheaders still a little bit bigger, but our Blood Tribe friend here does have the mohawk and a very poor paint job so far. So we'll just slide her out of the way. Some other models, if you're curious. So if you did want to maybe get the sci-fi versions, you can see here a good size representation with our Marine. They probably are closer to Primaris size. You know. Now, looking at our Warrior Nun from the original Sisters All-Star, you can definitely see there is a bit of a bulking up going on here. Grabbing a random Heresy Labs model, they do make quite a few sister-style warriors, more in the sci-fi range, but again, they're a little bit more true scale, a little bit more realistically proportioned than our Raging Heroes friends here. Grabbing some other sister-style models. Here's one of the Shield Wolf Sci-Fi sisters. They do make these in plastic in a fantasy style as well. Uses the same basic body, so something you might want to keep an eye out for if you really want to get, you know, a mix and match hodgepodge smorgasbord of sci-fi warrior women that are a bit on the religious bent. Here's a Grim Skulls model in there as well. So just to give you guys a good indication of what else is available and how they're going to scale and look with all those other models. So overall, other than the silly knee way too high up, and I really like her flail thing with the heads and sensors on it, and I really like I'm assuming she is the unit leader with the eagle or bird of some sort and the sword and just all kinds of things going on here. I really like this one. They don't seem as flat as the Blood Tribe members either, despite pretty much being a similar design of kind of a very 2D planar model, but it works for them. They have a lot more bulk. I think that's what's really going to kind of define them over the Blood Tribe ladies. So if you're in the mood for some sci-fi not sci-fi, well, possibly sci-fi or fantasy, they are definitely some interesting models. Like I said, these are the Beheaders. The Adjudicators, I believe, are the ones that have the big, giant, glaive-like, long sword spear things. I don't even know how to describe it, obviously. So if those are of interest to you, check those out. I'll put a link down below for Raging Heroes websites, and hopefully we'll continue to see interesting models from them like this. Until then, this is High Lord Tamberling with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll be back, and hopefully you'll be joining us. See y'all later. Bye-bye.